Have you ever felt like you just stand out? Like maybe you just don't fit in? You're just a little bit different. I'm just gonna tell you all, we are the spice of life. I'm a person who loves to cook, right? And sometimes when I cook or when I make dishes, I may use different spices and you may taste like, oh, did you put ginger in here? Or is that curry? It has that certain spice that just stands out. It has that unique taste. It's robust. That's what you are, the spice of life. We can look at how unique we truly are. And sometimes we don't like that uniqueness. We wanna blend right in. But I just wanna take an opportunity to say, we don't have to be that way. We need to value our uniqueness, right? If we were to look at the animal kingdom, remember, I'm a teacher, not a speaker. But if we were to look at the animal kingdom and look at a giraffe, like you have the male, female giraffes. A male giraffe get up to about 18 feet tall. A female giraffe gets up to about 14 feet tall. And it's even difficult for them due to their long neck, looking awkward. It's difficult for them to drink water, because to get in that position, it makes them vulnerable to predators that could be around, so it's dangerous. And not only that, they live in the African savannas where it's extremely hot. They just built crazy, right? If I were to look at the dung beetle, this little old beetle, it weighs 3.5 ounces on average. And what do they eat? Dung, animal feces, like that's what they eat. That's what they feed their babies. They live around that. That's crazy, right? If we were to look at a mountain goat, they live up 13,000 feet up in the air. You're not in the air, but like in the mountains. And speaking of air, oxygen is extremely limited. They live in this harsh environment, strong winds, extreme harsh, cold temperature. If you were to actually look at them, they got this stubby legs and almost like this woolly, thick, nappy, hair. They got these weird looking feet with hooves, with 2 toes on them, with these rough feet and toes and holes on their feet, looking rough, looking crazy. There's another, you just gotta see this. You gotta see this. I don't even know how to say it, but it's called like a tardigrades, right? And if you were to see these jokers, they're about the size of a grain of sand, right? But they are 8-legged, segmented bodies. They're lumpy, they're long, they're plump. They're known as water bears or moss piglets. Moss piglets. Just listening to that, they sound crazy. Like, why are they like that? But back to the giraffe with that long neck, okay? It also gives it the ability to look out further for predators. It has a different vantage point, so that uniqueness is actually a benefit in that savanna, in that hot desert. It may be difficult for them to lean over and drink some water, but what can they reach that many other animals can't reach? They can reach the leaves of trees, and they actually get a majority of the water that they need from that tree, and they could actually reach it advantage. They could go 3 weeks without water, but when they have access to it, they have access that other animals don't have, which keeps them safe. If we look at that dung beetle and what it eats, where it lives, look at its size, we could be stuck on that, but relative to its size, that dung beetle is the strongest organism, for the lack of better terms, on Earth. They could bury a dung ball. It's kind of gross, right? But they could bury a dung ball that's 250 times its weight. Or they could drag one that's over 1,100 times its actual weight. They could drag it. A little old beetle, that's almost like a human pulling 6 double-decker buses. That mountain goat, with those weird stubby legs, allows it to jump over 12 feet to reach other parts of the cliffs. It also is able to exist in an environment where its predators can't get to it. Okay, that thick fur and everything protects it from the wind and the cold temperature. The special feet that it has, the holes and the opening and the rough feet that creates traction. So in them slippery, steep environments, it allows it to navigate and move amongst that space. And only that space can it reach. That weird tardigrade thing, right? That thing, that insect, whatever it is, As gross and crazy as it may seem, as unique as it may sound, calling that joker a moss piglet or a water bear, it could live in a suspended state for decades. It could handle an extremely harsh environment. It can survive 10 years without water. It could be boiled and frozen. It could survive at absolute zero, which is a temperature that's typically only used in science, which is about negative 460 degrees Fahrenheit. It is the only insect, organism, living creature from Earth that can live in outer space. It could exist in outer space. It could survive in outer space, in the vacuum of space. That's crazy, right? But it's considered the most resilient organism that inhabits our Earth because it could withstand the harshest environments. Why? Because of its uniqueness, its spice of life. If we were to look at a few people, once again, I'm a teacher, not a speaker. Thomas Edison, he had mental deficiencies. I'm not saying it's good, but at the same time, it allowed him to be unique. It gave him the characteristics not to give up. So when he made the light bulb, it took almost 10,000 tries, but he was successful with it. Walt Disney was fired from his first job working for the newspaper. They thought that he lacked imagination. Walt Disney lacked imagination just because he didn't think the way everyone else did. Van Gogh, once again, somebody who was unique in his time. He only sold one painting. We hear about this Van Gogh, like the artist, right? During his lifetime, he only sold one painting. He made over 900, but there's value in what he did. One of his most expensive paintings went for over $83 million when it was sold back in the 1980s, right? It's now worth over $150 million. There's value in that uniqueness. There's benefits of having that spice of life. It allows us to stand out. Our uniqueness gives us purpose. It helps society evolve. We don't want to all think and look and process things the same. Uniqueness allows us to generate new ideas, new applications for things that already exist. Just overall originality. We are the spice of life. Like Dr. Eric Thomas says, you are best when you're you. Embrace your uniqueness, the spice of life. Remember, I'm a teacher, not a speaker. Y'all have an amazing day.